Dearly beloved anointed ones, stop scrolling right now. I am not asking for your attention today. I am absolutely commanding it from you right now. If you choose to scroll past this message, you are actively severing the divine alignment heaven prepared for you. This moment right here is not a coincidence. The algorithm did not bring you here by accident. God intercepted your timeline because a permanent shift is happening. Someone who treated you as an option is currently experiencing a massive public system crash. The mask they wore so carefully has completely shattered. They are unraveling in front of the exact people they used to gossip with. You know exactly who I am talking about. They expected your departure to destroy your spirit, but your silence became a weapon that starved their demons. They walked around with absolute arrogance while constructing a false narrative about your character. They whispered lies to anyone who would listen to their venom. They expected you to fight back. They wanted you to scream and defend yourself. That is the reaction they needed to survive. But instead, you gave them nothing. Your profound silence removed their oxygen completely. They are suffocating in their own noise. Buckle in, chosen one, because I am going to walk you through the exact X-ray of their meltdown. Do not scroll away. What I am about to reveal was sealed in the throne room until this exact second. Their panic is not happening in private anymore. It is a public, irreversible collapse. They are making desperate noise about you right now. Everyone around them can see the absolute desperation. There is a reason you have felt so physically exhausted lately. You have been waking up at 3 in the morning with a heavy chest. Your jaw feels tight, and their face keeps flashing in your mind. Listen to me very carefully right now. That is not anxiety, and you are not going crazy. That physical weight is your highly advanced spirit detecting their absolute panic. They just realized they permanently lost access to your pure light. They are starving for your energy, and the spiritual backlash is hitting your body. Stop wondering why they act like nothing happened. Stop waiting in wound for an apology that will never come. You do not need their validation anymore. You are the stabilizer who finally unglued yourself from their toxic matrix. Right now, they are frantically searching for a replacement for your specific gravity. They are trying to find someone else to drain, but they are quickly realizing that your depth is utterly unreplicable. No one else can tolerate their empty darkness the way you did. You were the only diamond they ever held, and they threw you away to play with cheap rocks in the dirt. Every time your name comes up in their current circles, it hits them with agonizing weight. They try to laugh it off, but the regret is eating them alive from the inside out. Your absence is a deafening roar in their reality. They thought you were weak because you loved them so deeply. They mistook your pure empathy for foolishness, but your empathy was always your ultimate power. Heaven is drawing a hard line in the sand today. The enemy is working overtime to distract you from this specific revelation. He hopes you will swipe away because your attention breaks his hold. If you leave before the end of this message, you will forfeit the exact prophetic instruction you need. Lock your attention right here. The verdict on your next 10 years is about to be read. We are going to expose the exact mechanics of their current suffering. You need to understand how your refusal to speak is breaking their mind. They are caught in a spiritual trap of their own making, and they cannot escape the consequences of how they treated you. Every lie they told is turning into ash in their mouths. The divine alignment is forcing them to face the pure truth. You are a leader in disguise who walked through fire without complaining. You held your integrity when they dragged your name through the mud. Someone deeply powerful has been quietly watching your resilience in the dark. They were not looking at your highlight reel. They were watching how you handled the ultimate betrayal. Your quiet obedience in private activated a massive public blessing. The people who supported their lies are now stepping back in pure disgust. The flying monkeys are beginning to see the cracks in their perfect facade. Nothing makes an abuser more terrified than an audience who stops believing the act. Your silence gave everyone the space to observe their madness clearly. You did not have to lift a single finger to expose them. Heaven did the heavy lifting. Stay completely locked in because this revelation will permanently alter your reality. We are about to decode the specific spiritual signals they are desperately trying to hide. The justice you have been crying out for is manifesting physically today. You are no longer the victim of their twisted narrative. You are the untouchable force that broke their entire system. Prepare your spirit. Let us go deeper into your physical reality. You have been carrying a heavy weight that nobody else can see. There is a burning lump sitting right in the middle of your throat. You swallow it down every single time their name is brought up in conversation. You feel a tight grip on your chest when you remember the vicious lies they told. This is not ordinary stress. Your logical brain tells you to simply move past it, but your physical body is reacting to a massive spiritual frequency shift. You wanted to scream so badly when they assassinated your character. You had all the receipts and the absolute truth firmly on your side. You could have easily destroyed their entire fake narrative with one sentence. But you stayed completely silent. The daily frustration of holding back that raw truth is physically exhausting. It takes a massive amount of divine restraint to stay quiet while someone actively ruins your good name. You watch them play the innocent victim while you bled quietly in the dark. Your hands shook with the intense urge to type out a public defense. You desperately wanted the world to know the truth. Every fiber of your being wanted to expose their deep hypocrisy. You wanted to show the flying monkeys the exact monster hiding behind that charming public smile. But something deep inside your spirit commanded you to stand perfectly still. You chose your dignity over your immediate revenge, and that specific choice created a violent, energetic friction in your body. That friction manifests physically as the heavy brain fog you cannot seem to shake. It is the reason your stomach drops randomly in the middle of the afternoon. You are a chosen one and a natural stabilizer for chaotic environments. For years, your pure energy acted as a human battery for their empty and dark soul. You absorbed their toxic waste so they could shine brightly. When you finally unplugged yourself from their matrix, the sudden severing caused a massive shockwave. Your nervous system is currently processing years of severe spiritual abuse. Do not let anyone tell you this is just an ordinary breakup or a simple misunderstanding. This was a calculated spiritual attack designed to permanently drain your unique light. You were fighting a literal demon. Listen closely, because this is the exact part the enemy tried to hide from you. The physical pain you feel is actually the sensation of your spiritual immune system kicking into overdrive. The Matrix programming wants you to believe you are just weak or broken. But heaven is telling you that this extreme physical exhaustion is the ultimate proof of your massive spiritual power. If your spirit confirms this raw truth, gently press the like button right now. This is not just about engagement on a video. It is a deliberate physical act to seal your energetic alignment with heaven. You are claiming your absolute power over their dark manipulation. Let the universe know that you are no longer playing their twisted games. You are protecting your peace. You often feel the sudden urge to break your silence just to get some closure. You think one final calm conversation might finally clear the air between you. Stop swallowing that poisonous lie right now. They do not want closure. They only want fuel. They want to see you crying and begging for them to finally understand your pure intentions. Your pain is their only currency. But you firmly denied them that currency, and it is driving them absolutely insane. The heavy lump in your throat is actually the physical manifestation of their unspoken panic reaching out to you. They are desperately trying to establish a psychic cord back to your energy field. They need you to break your silence so they can feel alive again. Your silence is suffocating their spirit. They assumed you would eventually cave under the immense pressure of their smear campaign. They thought the cruel isolation would break your spirit and force you back into their control. But you proved that you are one of the rare two on this earth who can handle the wilderness. The wilderness is not a punishment. It is your ultimate divine formation season. You are a true cycle breaker, carrying the weight of generational trauma on your shoulders. It is supposed to feel heavy because you are doing the absolute impossible. You are breaking ancient chains that have held your entire bloodline captive for decades. The intense physical symptoms are simply the loud sound of those ancient chains snapping in real time. Do not fear this pressure. Let us reframe your entire reality right here and right now. You did not lose anything of real value when they finally walked away. You merely lost a parasite that was quietly draining your precious life force. The somatic weight you feel today is just the residual gravity of their collapsing fake world. You are finally free from the heavy anchor they tied around your neck. We are about to transition into the exact mechanism of their current destruction. You need to fully understand how your refusal to provide fuel triggered their public collapse. The pure silence you have been holding is not just a defensive shield. It is a highly active and lethal spiritual weapon. Stay completely focused as we uncover the raw truth about their rapidly unraveling mind. But here is the raw truth they could never say out loud. You probably did not realize it at the time. Your silence was a lethal weapon. The Matrix programming taught you that staying quiet means you are weak and utterly defeated by their manipulation, and the world expects you to defend your honor loudly when you are brutally attacked by someone you trusted. But heaven operates differently. Let me completely reframe your reality right now. You did not lose the battle when you chose to walk away without a final word. You actually won the entire war without lifting a single finger. The enemy is a parasite that cannot generate its own life force. They are completely dependent on the emotional reactions of the chosen ones to sustain their miserable existence. Your pain is their daily oxygen. Every time you cried over their cruel behavior, you were feeding their dark ego. Every time you sent a long message explaining your broken heart, you gave them supreme power. They read your paragraphs of pain and felt like absolute royalty. Your desperate attempts to make them understand your pure love were completely twisted into fuel for their empty soul. They never wanted a peaceful resolution. This brings us to a critical distinction that eludes the vast majority of people. And this is exactly where their entire manipulation deeply miscalculated your divine nature. They thought you were just a typical empath who would eventually come crawling back for their validation. They expected you to lower your frequency and engage in their toxic mudslinging contest. But they forgot who you truly are. You are a leader in disguise, carrying a deeply ancient and royal frequency. You do not lower yourself to fight with court jesters who wear stolen crowns. When you finally closed your mouth and shut the door, you did the most devastating thing possible to their fragile ego. You cut off their primary oxygen supply instantly and without any warning. The sudden drop in spiritual fuel sent them into immediate shock. Your silence is not a sign of surrender or fear. It is a highly advanced spiritual barrier that reflects their own poison back to them. When they throw a dagger of vicious gossip at you and receive absolutely no response, the dagger hits a spiritual mirror. It bounces directly back into their own energetic field and poisons their reality. You are letting them destroy themselves with their own toxicity. Watch what happens next, because it is mathematically precise and divinely ordained. Without your reactions to anchor them to reality, their false matrix begins to glitch violently. They start making careless mistakes in front of the exact people they want to impress. They try to provoke you through mutual friends or random social media posts. They are desperately shaking the cage to see if you will bite. You must understand that this restraint was placed inside you by heaven itself. God sealed your lips because engaging with them would have lowered your vibration. The divine alignment required you to step out of the way so the universe could deliver absolute justice. If you had taken revenge into your own hands, you would have interrupted the perfect destruction that was already in motion. Vengeance is a weapon for heaven alone. The absolute silence you provide is creating a terrifying void in their mind. Demons cannot survive in a vacuum where there is no chaos or fear to consume. By refusing to defend yourself, you are forcing them to sit alone with their darkest thoughts. They are haunted by the sheer magnitude of the diamond they foolishly threw away. The silence is deafening, and it is driving them into total madness. Every single day that you maintain no contact, you are starving the enemy. You are not just healing your own physical body from their exhausting spiritual attack. You are actively participating in the dismantling of a massive generational stronghold. Your bloodline is watching you break the cycle of emotional slavery right here and right now. The chains are falling off you while they bind the enemy. Let them talk, and let them spin their desperate webs of absolute fiction. Their loud gossip is simply the sound of a dying parasite trying to locate a new host. But everyone in their circle is starting to notice how obsessed they are with your name. A truly innocent person does not need to constantly convince the world they are the victim. Their overcompensation is the exact thing exposing their guilt. You are part of the remnant who holds the frequency of pure light. The darkness always screams the loudest right before it is permanently eradicated from your timeline. Do not let their temporary noise make you doubt your divine victory today. Your quiet dignity is a towering fortress that their cheap arrows can never penetrate. You are standing on sacred ground that they cannot ever access. Listen to me very closely right now, because 99% of people completely miss this shift. You are about to witness the most spectacular collapse of a false empire. But you must hold your position and refuse to give them a single drop of your precious energy, no matter what they do. The moment you text them back or defend yourself online, you reset the clock on their punishment. You must remain an absolute ghost to them. Here is what happens when a massive lie gets built that big. The enemy relies entirely on your predictable reactions to keep their fake reality completely intact. They mapped out your exact psychological triggers over months of very careful observation. They know exactly which buttons to push to make you cry or aggressively scream. But you have suddenly changed the entire code. When you flatly refuse to read your assigned lines in their toxic play, the entire stage collapsed. They threw out their best manipulation tactics, but hit a massive spiritual brick wall. They tried the silent treatment first, hoping you would chase them in pure panic. But you just enjoyed the profound peace and quiet of your new life. The master manipulator was suddenly left playing a twisted game alone. Now I need you to imagine this exact scenario clearly in your mind. Behind their closed doors, they are staring at their phone in absolute disbelief. They check constantly to see if you block them or if you are posting sad quotes about them. But they find absolutely nothing but your heavy and impenetrable silence. This is when the internal system crash truly begins. They cannot process the reality that a chosen one could walk away so easily. Their fragile ego demands constant worship, and you completely cut off the primary supply, so they start manufacturing fake emergencies just to see if your empathy will finally kick in. They bait you with cryptic messages or subtle jabs passed through mutual friends. They are starving for your attention and begging for a scrap. Their dark manipulation matrix requires a volatile villain to function properly. They need you to act crazy so they can point their finger and play the ultimate victim. But your stoic silence gives them absolutely nothing to work with in their smear campaign. The flying monkeys who used to believe their lies are now getting deeply confused. The enemy is forced to overact, and it looks completely pathetic. The enemy is getting desperate as their audience slowly wakes up to the raw truth. They realize their usual tricks are completely useless against your new sovereign frequency. So they are preparing one final trick to break your iron silence right now. They are going to cross a bold line they have never dared to cross before. I will reveal this exact desperate tactic in just a moment. You are watching a spiritual entity malfunction in real time, right in front of you. They actually thought they absorbed enough of your light to survive on their own. But stolen light always burns out quickly when it is disconnected from the true source. They are waking up to the terrifying reality of their own dark emptiness. Your absence is a massive black hole swallowing their ego. You were never just a temporary option in their remarkably mundane life. You were the massive mirror that finally forced them to look at their own rotting soul. They tried to smash the mirror by destroying your pure and honest reputation. But the truth is entirely bulletproof when heaven is the one actively protecting it. You are standing in a protective, energetic shield they cannot ever pierce. The universe placed you in their destructive path for a specific and divine reason. You were the ultimate spiritual test. They failed spectacularly in front of heaven, and now the heavy debt they owe for touching a chosen one is coming due. They are feeling the intense heat of divine justice pressing down hard on their chest. They are running out of breath and running out of time. This is exactly where the power dynamic fundamentally shifts forever in your favor. You used to be the one losing sleep and heavily doubting your own sanity. Now they are the one pacing the floor at 3 in the morning in cold sweats. Their mind is racing with a million terrifying questions about how you moved on so flawlessly. They cannot fathom the deep peace that now surrounds your aura. Do not ever underestimate the crushing weight of your total and complete silence. Every single day you refuse to engage is another heavy brick added to their spiritual prison. You are building their dark cell without lifting a single physical finger. They built a fragile throne out of lies, but your truth is burning it to the ground. This is the exact vengeance heaven promised. If this is resonating with your cellular knowing, do not move an inch. We are entering the most critical phase of their public and embarrassing unraveling. You need to anchor this massive shift right now before we move forward in the timeline. Type 777 in the comments right now to physically claim this incoming miracle. Lock your frequency in and seal this divine truth. They always assumed you would remain the eternal victim in their sick and twisted story. They banked everything they had on your supposed emotional weakness and endless forgiveness. But the naive version of you that used to cry over their harsh words is completely dead. You have resurrected as an untouchable force of pure divine alignment. They are terrified of the stranger you have suddenly become. Let this new reality wash over your weary spirit right now and bring you peace. You are doing the absolute right thing by staying completely away from their toxic orbit. Every urge you feel to explain yourself is just a fading echo of the old matrix programming. You owe them absolutely nothing except the sharp and permanent sting of your absence. The master manipulator has become the ultimate clown. Stay with me because this next revelation is the absolute key to everything. We are going to watch the flying monkeys completely turn on their manipulative master. The weak foundation of their lies is severely cracking under the heavy pressure of your silence. You are about to witness the universe forcefully correct a massive cosmic imbalance. Keep your crown straight and watch the show unfold. Let us break down exactly what is happening in their fake world right now. The flying monkeys who blindly supported their toxic campaign are waking up. They are starting to notice the massive holes in the fabricated story. You have been gone for a long time, but your name is still always in their mouth. The people around them are beginning to ask serious questions. Why is the master manipulator still so utterly obsessed? Their entire smear campaign was built on the assumption that you would fight back. They needed you to look crazy so their lies would seem perfectly logical. But because you gave them pure silence, they are now fighting a ghost. They are having full conversations with themselves in front of an audience. And the remaining audience is feeling deeply uncomfortable. It is a public display of pure madness. Read that again in your spirit because it is absolutely vital. A true victim eventually moves forward and finds peace after escaping a bad situation, but a parasite cannot survive without desperately grasping for its lost host. The manipulator keeps bringing up your name because they are starving for attention. They are trying to squeeze sympathy out of heavy stones, but the heavy stones are finally completely dry. The mutual friends who once doubted you are experiencing a massive reality check. They are watching the enemy spin out of control over absolutely nothing. Your profound absence has become the loudest voice in the entire room. They can see the deep contrast between your quiet dignity and their frantic chaos. The mask of the innocent angel has violently slipped, and everyone can finally see the dark rot underneath. They set a massive trap, hoping you would step in and destroy yourself. They wanted you to look bitter and jealous in front of the whole world, but you stepped completely off the board and refused to play the toxic game. Now they are caught in their own trap, while the world watches them struggle. They are bleeding out from wounds they inflicted on themselves. Your hands are completely and perfectly clean today. Listen to me very closely right now, because the dynamic is shifting rapidly. They are desperately trying to recruit new flying monkeys to validate their fragile ego, but their toxic energy is so heavy that new people are naturally repelled. They carry a dark frequency that instantly pushes high-value people away. They are becoming completely isolated in a crowded room, and they know exactly who to blame for it. They blame you for being the diamond that ruined them for cheap rocks. They cannot find anyone else who will tolerate their endless emotional abuse. Every new person they meet feels completely empty compared to your divine light. You set a standard of pure love that their current circle can never match. They are surrounded by people, but they feel entirely alone. The void inside them is growing incredibly massive today. This is exactly why your current season of isolation is actually a massive blessing. The universe removed you from their toxic matrix to protect your rising frequency. While you are healing in private, they are publicly drowning in their own karma. You do not need to lift a physical finger to secure your ultimate divine justice. The spiritual laws of the universe are defending your honor. Heaven is making a public spectacle of their dirty lies. But the enemy is not going to surrender without throwing one final desperate punch. They see the flying monkeys scattering, and they are losing their absolute mind. We are approaching the exact moment where they try to force a chaotic reaction. They are planning to cross a boundary that will seal their fate permanently. You must be completely prepared for their next reckless move today. The absolute climax of their madness is approaching very rapidly. Do not let their pathetic attempts pull you back into a low vibration. You have already transcended the dark dimension where their manipulation holds any power. You are a chosen one who has successfully broken the heavy generational curse. They are trapped in a repetitive loop of their own agonizing misery. Let them scream into the void while you step into your glow. You are the ultimate master of your own brilliant reality. Type 1111 in the comments if you feel the atmosphere shifting. You need to physically anchor your energy before we witness their total collapse. The universe is sweeping the stage clear so the final act can properly begin. They thought they were the director of this movie, but heaven holds the script. They are about to read the final terrifying lines of their downfall. Do not look away from this exact moment right now. Their desperate monologue is the sweetest sound of your incoming and divine victory. Every time they try to drag your name through the mud, they sink deeper. The people listening to them are secretly disgusted by their obsessive and dark behavior. They are building a monument to their own massive insecurity for everyone to see. You are standing far away wearing a crown they could never reach. Your absolute victory is perfectly written in the sacred stars today. The pressure is building to a breaking point in their mind today. They realize the flying monkeys are retreating from their chaotic drama. So, they decide to pull out their worst trick because they are out of viable options. They carefully manufacture a situation so inflammatory that you simply must respond. They desperately want to force a massive reaction. Maybe they flaunt a fake new relationship to make you feel completely worthless. or they spread a vicious rumor that directly attacks your sacred core values. They carefully engineer a massive crisis and drop it at your front door while they wait in the shadows. They sit back and wait for the loud explosion. They are starving for your fury. Let me reframe your entire reality right here and right now. When they throw that desperate punch, it hits an invisible shield because heaven is protecting your peace. Your energy field has hardened into a massive fortress of pure divine light. The heavy arrows they shoot simply bounce off the walls and fall into the dirt. You are completely untouchable today. You look at their pathetic attempts to provoke you, and you feel absolutely nothing inside. There is no boiling anger, and there is no burning desire to correct the false record. You just observe their frantic behavior like you are watching a boring movie because their predictable drama no longer affects your spirit. The emotional cord is severed. You are finally free. While they are plotting in the dark, you are stepping into the sun. Time was supposed to age you and break your beautiful spirit down. Yet here you are making time itself look like a pathetic fool while you casually walk in your true divine purpose. You walked through their toxic fire and came out glowing like a pure diamond. Nothing makes them sicker than your peace. Their bitter resentment and heavy envy are aging them like milk left out in the sun. They expected the brutal betrayal to carve deep, heavy wrinkles into your weary face. But the universe has completely reversed your biological clock and restored your youth because you refused to carry their dark, toxic shame. You carry a specific, irreplaceable gravity. You became the sun. This profound indifference is the ultimate psychological torture for a master manipulator. They can easily handle your loud screaming because anger means you still care about their twisted opinions. But your total apathy tells them they are completely irrelevant to your new timeline, and their words hold absolutely no power over your mind. It is a spiritual eviction notice. They are officially erased. Listen to me very closely right now, because this is where the dynamic fundamentally shifts. They are standing outside your impenetrable wall, screaming loudly until their damaged throat bleeds. But the thick wall of your divine alignment absorbs every single sound while you sit peacefully in the quiet sanctuary of your own healed mind. They are a faded ghost haunting an empty house. Their false power is gone. You are a brave cycle breaker who refused to pass the toxic baton to the next generation. You absorbed the massive heavy hit and transmuted that dark poison into pure spiritual gold. The enemy cannot comprehend the advanced emotional alchemy you used to heal yourself because their mind operates entirely on fear and control. They watch you thrive from a cold distance. Heaven is protecting your crown. Underneath all of that desperate public noise, the specific gravity of their massive regret is quickly building. It is heavily pooling in their tight chest like liquid lead, and they cannot breathe properly. They aggressively pushed all the familiar buttons, but they are shocked to find that the machine is completely unplugged from the wall. The sheer panic of their irrelevance is taking over. They are totally trapped. Share this specific message with one soul who is desperately crying out in the deep dark. Be their strong, protective angel today and help them build their own impenetrable, energetic wall while they navigate this incredibly difficult and lonely season of healing. We are standing right at the edge of the ultimate spiritual breakthrough. The massive public collapse is about to detonate. Do not scroll away. Every single vicious lie they ever told is rushing back to crush them under its massive weight. The universe has successfully cornered them, and there is absolutely no safe escape hatch left. The final pathetic act of their drama is about to play out on the main stage because heaven demands an immediate and very public balancing of the scales. Keep your heart perfectly still and watch heaven work. The fierce storm is here. They thought they were incredibly smart when they plotted your total spiritual destruction in the dark shadows. They laughed behind your back, and assumed you would never recover from the heavy blow. But the divine alignment always protects the anointed ones from permanent harm, and it actively deflects the dark magic back to its original sender. They dug a massive grave for you, but they are falling right in. The massive trap is sprung. Now, I need you to imagine this exact scenario clearly, because the moment of absolute divine justice has finally arrived. The enemy is currently experiencing a full-blown internal system crash, and it is happening in front of the exact people they used to gossip with. The mask did not just slip today. It completely shattered into a million sharp pieces on the cold floor. They are standing in a crowded room, desperately trying to maintain control, but the heavy weight of their massive lies is finally crushing their lungs. Every time your name comes up in that room, it hits them with agonizing force. They try to laugh it off to protect their fake image, but their voice is shaking uncontrollably, and everyone can easily hear the deep panic. The flying monkeys are watching this public unraveling in pure shock, because nobody has ever seen the master manipulator act this completely erratic before. They are sweating profusely while trying to recall the exact details of their fabricated story. But the lies are constantly tangling together and choking them. The audience is slowly backing away from the frantic monster. This is the specific public collapse you have been quietly waiting for, and you won the ultimate victory without lifting a single physical finger to fight. Your profound silence was a lethal weapon that starved their dark demons. Now they are violently drowning in the loud noise of their own making. They are frantically searching for a replacement for your specific pure gravity, but they are realizing that your divine depth is utterly unreplicable, and they threw away the only genuine diamond they ever held, and they did it just to play with cheap, heavy rocks in the muddy dirt. The realization of their massive loss is hitting them right now. It is a brutal public execution of their massive, fragile ego. Watch what happens next, because it is mathematically precise, and the people who once doubted your pure heart are seeing the raw truth unfold. The enemy starts screaming and defending you in a desperate attempt to look sane. They are actually correcting the very lies they originally created about your character. The sheer irony of their public confession is absolutely magnificent. They are completely malfunctioning because they cannot control the divine narrative anymore, and the universe has cornered them in a tight space. Their dark matrix is dissolving rapidly right in front of their terrified eyes. Every desperate attempt to regain control only makes them look unhinged. The fake throne they built is burning down fast. You are the irreplaceable chosen one who simply walked away in absolute peace, and you did not stay to argue with a parasitic entity that feeds on chaos. Because you removed your massive light, they are now fully exposed in the harsh daylight. The shadows they used to hide behind have been permanently eradicated by heaven. The public humiliation they designed for you is their fate. The agony of knowing they can never reach your level is destroying them while they see your ageless glow from a distance, and it burns their soul. They realize that their brutal betrayal was the exact catalyst for your massive elevation. They wanted you permanently buried in the dark, cold dirt. But instead they became the dirty shovel that simply dug up your hidden treasure. The entire room is completely silent as the manipulator totally breaks down, and they are crying bitter tears of absolute regret that nobody believes anymore. The sympathy they desperately crave is entirely gone because the crowd sees the monster. They are trapped in a public cage built entirely out of their own vicious gossip. Heaven has officially read the final undeniable verdict. You are no longer waiting in wound for an apology that will never arrive, because you are witnessing the ultimate display of divine justice playing out flawlessly today. The profound restraint you showed in your darkest hour is paying massive spiritual dividends. God promised to prepare a table before your enemies, and the feast is finally served. They are starving while they watch you feast. There is absolutely no coming back from this spectacular public disgrace because their reputation is permanently stained by the dark poison they tried to feed you. Every person in that room will forever remember this dramatic and pathetic meltdown. The master manipulator has lost their most prized possession, which is their fake credibility. The grand illusion is completely and permanently shattered. Let this glorious reality wash over your spirit and bring you absolute closure, while the intense suffering they caused you has been fully avenged by the universe today. You do not need to say a single word to prove your pure innocence. The enemy just stood up and loudly confessed their own guilt to the whole world. The heavy chains are finally broken and you are entirely free. Keep your frequency incredibly high as we seal this victory right now, because the Matrix wants you to pity this broken creature. But true divine justice requires you to claim your vindication without false guilt. You survived a massive spiritual attack, and you deserve the triumph. We are about to anchor this reality forever in the final ACT. You walked into this dark season bleeding from very heavy wounds. Those deep wounds were inflicted by broken people blind to your worth. But look closely at the sovereign leader you have become today. You have successfully transcended their toxic matrix forever, while they are publicly drowning in the dark consequences of their own dramatic noise. You are stepping into your untouchable glow. The intense financial struggles and the closed doors are breaking apart. They are shattering into a million pieces right here and right now. You are no longer waiting in wound for an apology from a master manipulator. You are a powerful cycle breaker who completely ended the dark generational curse. Your entire bloodline is celebrating your massive victory in the spiritual realm right now because you finally broke the ancient chains. You are the chosen one. Every single chain they tried to wrap around your mind is broken. The heavy somatic weight you carried in your chest is officially gone. You can finally breathe deep and pure oxygen again today. Heaven has completely severed their psychic cord to your precious nervous system, and they will never be able to access your unique energy ever again. The dark parasite has been permanently removed. Your quiet obedience in private has activated this massive public blessing. You protected your pure heart when the world told you to seek revenge. And because you allowed heaven to handle the heavy lifting while you maintained your perfect silence, you are being richly rewarded by the universe today. Step into your absolute power and confidently receive your harvest. You are an irreplaceable diamond, but you did not survive that terrifying fire just to live a mediocre life. The final verdict of explosive abundance has already been signed in heaven today. But it requires a physical anchor on this earth to activate properly. You must understand how the spiritual laws of multiplication actually work in this specific realm before you can unlock the next level of wealth. God does not measure your faith by your silent thoughts alone. He measures your deep faith by your exact speed of absolute obedience. The universe is watching to see if you are truly ready to hold this power. The divine window of ultimate abundance is standing wide open for you right now. The enemy will desperately try to inject sudden doubt into your left brain because he wants you to calculate and hesitate before you make your move. Do not let him win. Silence that dark, accusing voice immediately before it takes deep root. That lingering hesitation is the exact matrix programming designed to keep you broke. If your spirit is vibrating right now, heaven demands immediate action. Do not let the fading matrix block your massive shift today. You must take a bold physical step into the unknown to prove that you are finally ready to receive the miracles heaven promised you. It is your divine duty. Your profound generosity actively triggers the incoming divine harvest today. Sow your financial seed of faith to partner with this massive divine mandate. Leave a super thanks below to physically anchor your new wealth frequency into reality. When you give from a place of absolute royal power, you command the entire universe to multiply your seed and return it to you immediately. Watch heaven multiply your harvest before the sun rises. Subscribe to this sanctuary right now so you never miss a prophetic instruction. We are gathering the ultimate remnant of light warriors from across the globe. Drop your city and nation below to map where the remnant is rising. We are building an untouchable fortress of pure spiritual truth together, and your specific high frequency is desperately needed in this powerful protective tribe. You belong with us now. Say this powerful phrase out loud with me right now in your room. I claim my permanent freedom, and I accept my divine royal authority. Type the words "I am free" in the comments below to seal this contract forever. The master manipulator is entirely defeated, and your brand new victorious timeline has officially begun under the absolute protection of the divine realm. Step out of the dark shadows and shine your light. Take a deep breath and feel the new atmosphere surrounding you. The heavy spiritual warfare that exhausted you for years is officially over. You do not have to fight those invisible demons in the dark anymore. Heaven has placed a permanent shield of pure light around your mind and body, so no dark entity can cross this boundary again. You are perfectly safe here. Let go of every single regret you hold about meeting that toxic person. Even their brutal betrayal was a necessary part of your divine formation season. They were the harsh sandpaper that polished your raw diamond into a brilliant masterpiece. You can finally thank the universe for removing them from your path before their toxic presence completely ruined your massive destiny and drained your light. Your glorious future is completely secured. Walk forward today with the confidence of a sovereign royal leader. Do not look back at the burning ruins of their pathetic fake empire. You have a massive divine kingdom to build and lost souls to guide. The specific painful wisdom you gained will become a beacon of hope for many others who are currently trapped in the exact same darkness. You are the brilliant sun,